Hello, and welcome to week 9 of our live coaching call for our coaching, sorry, words are hard, of our group coaching program. Nope, that's not it either. Habit changing course. I had a brain fart, guys. I just got back from Mardi Gras with the Army Band last night, and while I was gone, there was a sewer clog in my house, and my house flooded. And so if you hear a whole bunch of noise, they've already ripped out the ceiling downstairs. They're ripping out the floor. Nothing I can do about it. Just got back. So my brain is in a bunch of different places, so apologies for not knowing what I was doing. I knew what I was doing, but anyway. So welcome to week 9, and today we're going to be talking about taking total responsibility and having accountability. I'm curious, if you're watching this, I would love for you to write in the chat how last week went. What exercise did you incorporate? And did you find your groove? Did you find a new activity that you liked? What worked for you, and what was your activity that you committed to? Because remember last week, week 8 was to commit to doing some sort of activity every day. Mine was walking, because I've just started being able to lift again with the broken thumb and elbow, and I just got cleared to do a little bit more. But with the Mardi Gras trip, there was a whole lot of sitting, but then there was a whole lot of walking because I wasn't driving. And I marched the Mardi Gras Rex Parade, which is all of almost 5 miles, and my gosh, I am still sore. So when people say, oh, walking isn't much, it can be. That was, we left the hotel at 7:30. We marched back at 2:30. It was a very long day. So I'm curious, what was the activity that you committed to? Did you do different activities? Did you find a new fun thing? And how's it going with the food? How's it going with the water? How's it going with the eating undistracted and vegetables? I found that on this trip, it's been a lot easier for me to, vegetables were harder, but just having that, okay, look for vegetables. Fruit. I can always get one piece of fruit a day. So I almost was able to stick to that because I brought apples and peanut butter. I was able to find fruit different places. So being able to commit to that. And if I didn't beat myself up about it. But it was it was interesting to see okay, now I'm on the road. What are my options? So curious how that's going for you, and what has been working, and where you are with all of that. Yeah. And yeah. Oh, okay. So we didn't do anything. Walked to dinner a whole mile and got yelled at for doing so. Yeah, well, okay. So Mary Kate's dealing with that, and I totally get that. But you're dealing with some stuff, lady. So that's it's kind of a challenge to figure out well, what is my movement, And sometimes movement is not is contraindicated. AKA you have hip problems, or you're having surgery and you should not be moving and you don't want to overdo it. So that's bad timing. Okay, so this week we're going to talk about taking total responsibility. That is easier said than done. So it's really easy to have not a victim mindset, but taking total responsibility, complete responsibility for your actions is not the easiest thing in the world. But it does mean that you have a choice, right? So there is power and ownership of your ownership of your actions. Ownership has power in it. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And if you haven't read the article this week, I know I'm behind because it's Thursday and I was supposed to be doing this Tuesday, whatever. So here's the article from this week in case you hadn't read it, but we're going to go through and give you some extra little tips about this. But what do I mean? Why is this important to have complete responsibility? Well, it means you have a choice. And that choice is up to you, that in every situation you can choose how to act, how to react, and how to be. So even when it isn't fair, like when you don't like it, when it was wrong, you take responsibility for it. So examples I like to use in everyday life to change your way of speaking. I didn't make time to practice instead of I didn't have time to practice. I didn't do it. I didn't prioritize. I chose to. So those are just ways that you can start kind of implementing that. Notice where it sounds like you're actually making an excuse, like I didn't have time. No, I didn't make time. That allows you to change your situation. There's a link in the group to a podcast that I've been listening to, and one of the things he says in that, the reason I included it, he loves to say this, and I love this because it really gives you ownership over your situation instead of making you feel like a victim. And that is asking yourself the question, why am I choosing to have this experience? Let's think about that. So there's obviously some things you can control in life and other things you can't control, and that's fine. But there's a lot that we can control, and we can change not just how we react, but how we act in certain instances. Why am I choosing to have this experience? So when we think about what we're dealing with right now, when it comes to this habit changing course, right? We're trying to change our habits. Why are you choosing to have the experience that you had before, that you're having right now? Where are we struggling, and why? We're taking ownership of this. Why am I choosing that? So if you feel so inclined, this hits home. I'd love to know what you're struggling with. Why are you choosing to have that experience? It's kind of a rough thing to ask, right? But there's ownership and power in that. So back to the ways of speaking. All those ways of speaking signify that you're taking responsibility for your decisions and your actions. When you say things like, I didn't have time, I can't, it's easier for someone else, when I get organized, somebody did this and I'm not able to, someday all those statements do is make you a victim. You are not a victim. You are a product of all of your choices. Dare to disagree with me here, okay? You are a product of all your choices. If you don't like where you are now, change it. Do something different. But just whining and wallowing self-pity will continue to keep you where you are. Yes, you may have had less than ideal circumstances in your life. So? Doesn't mean you have to stay there. Doesn't mean you have to wallow in it. Doesn't mean you have to boo-hoo it, right? You do maybe need to acknowledge it, maybe deal with it, maybe get some counseling over it. That is wonderful and really good. That also helps you take ownership. But staying in that is a choice. So change it. Do it now and start taking responsibility. If you want it, go get it. If you didn't do it, own it. Ownership has power in it. We don't hear this message enough. I don't know about y'all, but I'm so tired of the blame game, and there is just something so refreshing about hearing someone really take ownership of whatever mistake they made, when they didn't make time to do something. I'm thinking of like when my students say they didn't practice. It's like, no, I didn't have time. No, you didn't make time. You chose to put your time somewhere else. We all have the same amount of time. You're choosing to do this. You're choosing to do that. Okay. What about food? Okay, so I could make all kinds of excuses. I was on the road. It was too hard to eat vegetables. No, I could have at least tried some greens powder. I could have done that. I chose to not prioritize vegetables. That gives me choice now to change. Now that I'm home, they're ripping up the floor, right? Right now they're my house flood. They're ripping up the floor. Where do I have choice in this? I could be like, oh no, I just, it seems like every time I get ahead all right? Is there anything I can do to change the current situation? I can change how I perceive it. I can change how I'm going to react to it. I can see that there might be a blessing in it because, hey, I'm going to get a new floor. Now, like, the cat scratches are going to be gone. I might get some new living room furniture out of it. That'd be great because I've been trying to get rid of that anyway. Hey, so there's something there, looking for that silver lining. But also, was there anything I could have done? Maybe I needed to, possibly. This could have just been a freak thing. There was a clog. The girl who was house sitting for me thought she felt really guilty. Nah, if it wasn't her taking a bath, it would have been me taking a bath, and it would have been me dealing with it. It was just something that was going to happen. We can't see these things. Was there anything I could have done? Well, probably could have had a plumbing tune-up scheduled. Hadn't done that. Now I know I need to make sure I keep on that. That's something to do every year. Okay, lesson learned. I will choose to do that. In fact, I've already got one scheduled for the future just to make sure everything when this is done is good. Okay, so back to our thoughts here. A man can fail many times, but he isn't a failure until he begins to blame someone else. John Burroughs said that. So the predominant state of mind displayed by those on the failure curve is blame. The predominant state of mind displayed by those on the success curve is responsibility. And this goes back to the oh gosh, I just blanked. The blue and white book that we were talking about. The Slight Edge. So successful people are willing to do what unsuccessful people are not willing to do. I'm going to say that again. Successful people are willing to do what unsuccessful people are not willing to do. This can get kind of touchy. I get it, right? So there's certain times that, like, I'm thinking of some people in specifically, I'm not going to name names, that I know that it's like there's always an excuse for something. This happened. I've got this to deal with. I don't have the mental bandwidth to deal with this. Oh, this, I have too much work. Now I can't leave work. Now I can't eat right. Now I can't do this. I can't, and it's always blamed on a circumstance. And it's not an occasional thing. It's a daily and a weekly thing. And there's no power in that. And living that way. Sure, maybe living your life in crisis mode. Heck, I have every right to be living my life in crisis mode right now. Just came back from Mardi Gras, my house is flooded, had to find $1,000 to pay a plumber. I've got to find the money to pay the insurance. My check engine light is on, the car didn't want to start. I could be a victim or I can deal with it. I can choose to say, okay, what am I going to do? What are my options? What can I do? I have choice. Why am I choosing to have that experience over this experience? What experience do I want to have? Right? So we can either live in blame and get nowhere and say, oh, why am I not losing weight? Why am I not? I don't know. Well, we're at week 9. Look at how we're living life. Why are you choosing to have this experience? Is there something that in this course you didn't do that was just too difficult, or there's something underlying that needs to be dealt with? Right? That's okay, but take ownership of it. There is something. Okay, so I was watching this. You ever watch Hoarders and My 600-Pound Life and all those kinds of things? Those are one of those. Hoarding is an outside manifestation of an internal problem. My 600-Pound Life and being obese is an internal manifestation of an internal problem. Right? You've got some kind of trauma that has happened in both of these situations. Whatever that trauma is, doesn't matter what the trauma is, but they are a response to trauma and not having dealt with it completely. And so hoarding makes you feel safe. You put your trust in things, and there's all that. And then My 600-Pound Life, when these people get so big, it's easy to just blame them. But there's always more to it. And what's going on, is that you're using food to self-soothe. Same with some sorts of addiction. People drink to self-soothe. They use drugs to self-soothe. They do all these other things, right? It means there's something we're not dealing with. It also makes it easy to not take ownership of that, right? So there might be something else going on that you have to deal with. But let me challenge you to take total responsibility and think about your words this week. Really take a good look at what have you not done in these last 9 weeks? Which of these things and why? No judgment. Just take a look at which of these steps have I chosen to not do. See what I said? Not which didn't happen. No, take responsibility. Which of these things have I chosen to not put forth the same amount of effort? What did I struggle with and choose not to do? And then be curious about it. It's not like you have to get all of them perfect and right all the time. But which ones did you choose not to? So, the predominant state of mind displayed by those on the failure curve is blame. The predominant state of mind displayed by those on the success curve is responsibility. So taking this responsibility really liberates you. In fact, it's perhaps the single most liberating thing that there is. Even when it hurts, even when it doesn't seem fair, when you don't take responsibility and when you blame others, circumstances, fate, or chance, you give away your power. When you take and retain full responsibility, even when others are wrong or the situation is genuinely unfair, you keep your life's reins in your own hands. Well, it's hard. We don't hear that. It's always someone else's fault, right? But this is really, really liberating. Responsibility is declaring oneself as cause in the matter. It is a context from which to live one's life. Right? Responsibility is not a burden, fault, praise, blame, credit, shame, or guilt. All of these include judgments and evaluations of good and bad, right or wrong, or better and worse. They're not responsibility. right? Responsibility starts with the willingness to deal with a situation from and with the point of view, whether at the moment realized or not, that you are the source of what you are, what you do, and what you have. Why am I choosing to have this experience? It is not right or even true to declare oneself as cause in the matter. It's just empowering. So by standing for yourself as cause, what happens shifts from happening to you to just happening, and ultimately to happening as a result of your being cause in the matter. And that was Werner Erhard who said that. So that's, I'd also like you to, if you are in the group, you'll notice there are a couple other things. If you're really interested in this and interested in taking power and total responsibility like this, I really encourage you to read the book Extreme Ownership by Jocko, what's his last name? Jocko and Leaf. That's or a couple of Navy SEALs, ex-Navy or retired Navy SEALs that, boy, they really, I've read the book twice and I got to go get it again, right? So I really challenge you to read that. It's a really freeing thing, and in the end, that's really all we can do is take responsibility for ourselves. So this book will really help you out. So think about this, no one can exercise for you. No one can work for you. No one can set boundaries for you. No one can admit failure for you. No one can tell you what to eat. They can tell you what to eat, but they can't make you eat it. No one can tell you what to drink, make you drink it. No one can change your body, ultimately. Yeah, you can get plastic surgery, but you know what? If the habits that were still there that caused you to get to where you are, it's going to come right back. No one can alter your pain. No one can accept your present. No one can change your future but you. So I want you to think about that. There's also another link to an article that I wrote called I didn't write it actually. This is not something I wrote, it's something I reposted. The 3 lean body secrets no one has told you. So it really speaks the truth about what it actually takes to not only get that lean body, but more importantly, keep it. So it's fantastic. I definitely encourage you to read that. So you need, the journey here will be more difficult for some than others, that's true, but it also goes along with taking responsibility. And the article is right here. So Mike Russell wrote it. You're going to need persistence. It talks about culture and superiority. So it's really, really interesting. So if you are in the group, I challenge you to go read that this week, probably tomorrow or today. It goes right along with extreme responsibility. Then there's the podcast I talked about from David Nagel. But now let's get real quick into accountability. So why do we need accountability? So, excuse me, guys. Wait a minute. How are these simple everyday actions supposed to create all this wonderful happiness, health, and success for me if they're all easy to do? If anyone could do them? If these are things anyone can do, why are only 5% successful? Excellent question. Because they're all easy not to do. And while anyone could do them, most won't. Every action that any of these goals requires is easy to do, right? Eating vegetables is pretty easy. Drinking water, easy. Also easy not to. Right? Here's the problem. Every action that is easy to do is also easy not to do. Why are these simple yet crucial things easy not to do? Because if you don't do them, they won't kill you. At least not today. You won't suffer or fail or blow it today. Something easy not to do when it won't bankrupt you, destroy your career, ruin your relationship, or wreck your health. Today. Something is easy not to do when it won't bankrupt you, destroy your career, ruin your relationships, or wreck your health. Today. What's more, not doing it is usually more comfortable than doing it would be. So every good thing lies on the other side of fear, right? But that simple, seemingly insignificant error in judgment, compounded over time, will kill you. It will destroy you and ruin your chances for success. You can count on it. It's the slight edge. That's the choice you face every day, every hour. A simple positive action repeated over time. A simple error in judgment repeated over time. You can always count on the slight edge, and unless you make it work for you, the slight edge will work against you. So what does this mean? Accountability. It means having generally someone that you tell your goals and your plans to, and that will check in with you, letting them know your actions. So you're going to like find somebody, usually. It doesn't have to be a person. It can be, if you're in the Facebook group, that can be everybody here. The goal with this is to create a community, right? And sometimes it's easier to do that in an online group than somebody face to face. But this is also really easy not to do. And here goes the noise. So writing things down is a form of self-accountability. Having an accountability partner as a trusted friend. And you tell them when you have done what you said you would do, or when you haven't done what you said you would do, and they hold you accountable. If you say, I will exercise 20 minutes every day, get 8 hours of sleep, and cut out all alcohol, will you hold me accountable? Your partner will ask you, ideally every day, did you exercise? How long did you sleep? Did you drink? All day, guys. And you have to answer truthfully. If you say no, they can get on your case in a loving way to remind you of why. Okay? So accountability here is really, really important. So if it's very, again, the small stuff is easy to do, but it's so much more easy. It's so much easier not to do it. That's why having an accountability partner or some form of accountability is really important. Some people don't need a person to hold them accountable. Some people get enough accountability just by writing it out and saying, I'm going to commit every day. I am going to commit to writing this out. And if they don't write it out, then you feel guilty, right? You can also be accountable. You can have accountability to yourself, but generally things work better if you have accountability with somebody else. If you've ever had accountability, I would love to know what worked for you. Yes, it can be difficult to change old habits, absolutely. So, yeah, so here's the question. Who are you going to have accountability with? Is it going to be a friend? Is it going to be a group? Is there a certain person that you can talk to? If you are in this program, I would love for you to write it down right now. This is taking accountability and responsibility. What is going to be your source? Is it going to be a person, a thing, a group? Doesn't matter who it is, okay? So it can be me if you want it to be, but have that plan, okay? Someone that will hold you accountable and not put up with your BS and your excuses, that will call you out on saying, yeah, you just blamed somebody for blah, 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 okay? Are we blaming or are we taking responsibility, okay? That's the challenge this week. It's a hard one. It's easy to do, easy not to do, and this is why I put it at the very end. Next week is the very end. But I also put in the group accountability and a plan. So if you are struggling with the workout part of this, if you're looking for a workout, you're not sure what to do, I've actually got a program called the COVID Comeback. And I call it the COVID Comeback Challenge because it is catchy, but really it's just either a 6 or 12-week workout that's instrument specific. The program incorporates the habit changes in this program. You get all of those again. Instrument specific workouts, a written out 90-day workout program with accountability, messaging, and videos in an app. So, you get a whole lot of stuff, and group coaching plus some bonuses. It's a whole lot. It's not just a workout. So if you're looking for something to go with this could be the plan you need to continue to make this year the best. And that is at musicstrong.com/COVID Comeback Challenge 2. And you can see that there if that's something that interests you. I've also got some instrument-specific workouts. I've got a whole lot of options if you're looking for a good workout. And if that's not what you're into, I've got some other suggestions. Don't let not having a plan hold you back. That's why we started last week with do some sort of exercise every day. And you don't have to start that workout today. It can be the couch to 5K. It can be new rules of lifting. It can be all kinds of things, right? But the important thing is that you have accountability, you take responsibility, and you have a plan. And we're getting to that point, okay? This has been really great, guys. Thank you all for joining me. Please write some comments down below, and looking forward to hearing your success in the group. Let's talk about this week about what you're struggling with. Let's talk about your successes. I really want to hear your successes. What worked for you? What is the thing that you can share with other people that you go, yeah, this is working. I love this. Take total responsibility for things this week, guys. I'm really excited to hear how it goes. Thanks for joining.